Hey, I'm Scott Silveri, and my wife Leah and I started Blue Marriage several years ago after I retired from law enforcement as a chief of police, and our marriage struggled, and we really felt the calling to start this ministry to support specifically law enforcement marriages. And I know at a dark time in our relationship that there was no resources out there. There was no one that spoke our language, and so we thought it was important to make this available. And we're just happy to host the Blue Marriage page and the Instagram and social media. And thank you for being here. And something we wanted to talk about, we want to start a conversation, is about sexual purity. And I know it's one of the difficulties with a lot of Leo marriages, and I know that law enforcement can be a very promiscuous culture. There's a lot of divorce, there's a lot of adultery, there's a lot of open wounds that are out there where marriages just don't heal, and then they fail. And unfortunately, in our culture of law enforcement, what we do is just we give up on it because there's no one out there that speaks our language that can offer the help. So so we move on to the next person and the next relationship, and of course that fails because there's just the basic principles of marriage uh, are not being supported, or not being honored, or not being really adhered to or mentored in the law enforcement culture. And that's just indicative of an alpha culture of predominantly males in a fixer type mode, where we're used to fixing other people's problems, and when it comes down to fixing our own, if it doesn't come easy, we bail out and look for something else. But I just want to talk really brief about when it comes down to accountability and really just working as a team, as a unit, as a husband and wife. Uh, Whoever, maybe both are in law enforcement, or the husband is, or the wife is, it doesn't matter. It goes back to this first biblical principle of the law of partnership, the law of possession, and it comes back to Genesis 2:24, where right in the very beginning, the very first relationship, Adam and Eve, where it says that the man will leave his mother and father, and he and his wife will become one. And I thought about that in a practical way today, and in ways that how do you show that oneness, that unity, that marriage, and just like I'm communicating with you over social media, when you look at a lot of the folks we talk to, there's a lot of heartburn over. You wouldn't think it's a big deal, but it is over. Let's just say like your Facebook profile. You know, um, if you're married, and a lot of spouses have heartburn over the fact that they're not included in it, they're not involved, and of course the other one says, well, this is my page and you have your page. And but that's just a simple act. It's a it's a very tangible, real illustration of togetherness, of this two becoming one. And it may sound simple to some people, like, oh my gosh, it's just a Facebook profile. But you know what? When that's seen by your friends and your family, and maybe people on the outside that are interested in your spouse, or even in you, and if they don't see that symbol, that sign, that show of unity, well, then what are they going to think? They may think, and they do think, oh, how come he doesn't have his wife's picture in there with him? How come they're not together in their profile photo? I really don't see any pictures of his spouse. Well, maybe they're not that close. Maybe things are going wrong. And you start planting these seeds of opportunity in other people's minds. And and those seeds become weeds that begin to filter into your marriage. Um, so, if you're looking for a tangible way, an effort, a symbol, just to show your spouse, to give some reassurance that, hey, you are my partner. We were two. We're married. We've now become one. Let's start simple. Change your profile picture. If it's not you and your spouse, there's no reason why not to. If it's like, well, I'm law enforcement, and I don't want to expose her to this. Well, then create a public page. Make it Officer so and so, and let it be a public page, where a public profile page. But on your personal page, where it's mostly probably your family and friends and coworkers, then if there's any opportunity to do something simple, something quick, something right now, to show your spouse that, hey, we are a team. I'm very proud of you. And as I see myself, I see you as part of me, and we are one. Make that effort, make that gesture. Listen, we talk to a lot of people. I'm talking to a lot of people. And that's usually one of the top problems when it comes to social media. Because 70% of all divorce filings reference Facebook as one of the issues that began with an affair, adultery, or just their marriage falling apart. So let's shore that up. Let's do it where we can. The simplest thing we can do right now, make sure your personal pages that it has a picture of you and your spouse on both y'all pages. And if anything, it's a show of good faith to your spouse that, hey, I'm proud of you. I love you. I'm not trying to hide you. And I want everybody to know that we're two as one. We're a team. And here's a symbolic image, right, in a very tangible way in social media. So we want to start talking more about marital purity, um, and just really ministering to law enforcement marriages. Like I said, there was nobody there for us in the beginning. Everybody encouraged me to well, just find somebody else, and everybody was encouraging Leah, hey, he's a cop, he's never going to change. But it wasn't until people took an interest and they spoke the language that I spoke that I was able to understand them. So we want to do the same for you. So we do. We love you. We thank you for your service, for your sacrifice, and God bless you.